Welcome back, guys, to today's second video. We're doing a 10 to 14 day forecast today. We're going to be looking at the progression of the Scandinavian high and maybe some northerly winds to make us go a lot colder lately, what have been on the models. So let's get into this, and we will show you right now what is happening. So let's go right to the models and we will get going. So we start off on the 26th of November. What is today? We have high pressure coming across, low pressure trying to keep up, and then the high pressure takes over. Low pressure forms next to the UK, what will bring rain into the country or snow because of these easterly winds what are coming from up here. So that's a bit more interesting. If we look at the upper air temperatures, we're looking like that. As you can see, as I said, we could be bringing some snow in because we are bringing that cold air mass in from the northeast. If we look at the equivalent temperature, we'll show you what that's looking like. The equivalent temperature is not looking that cold just yet, obviously, because of that, so not that much yet there. But if we have a look at the temperature deviation, we're looking like this. We are in the colder air mass, looking a bit colder there, so that's a bit more interesting. So we'll go back to the 500 HPA height. So we are of December. High pressure to go towards the high pressure continues to build over the country. The high pressure goes all the way up to Greenland. So high pressure is, instead of bringing that easterly in with the high pressure of Scandinavia, take high pressure up. This low pressure here pushes the high pressure in the Atlantic towards Greenland, and when that pushes up towards Greenland, we start to bring a very cold northerly wind. So if you don't know what high pressure means and low pressure, high pressure is the yellow, orange and red, and that means we're going to be drier and more settled, and the low pressure means wet, windy and unsettled. So it doesn't mean it's going to be cold if it's in the, it doesn't mean it's going to be warm if it's in the yellow, orange and red, and it doesn't mean it's going to be cold if we're in the blue, so and purple. Just depends where the wind comes from. And at this point, we are coming in from a very cold northeasterly there, northerly, aren't we? So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll have a look at the 850 HPA upper air temperatures. What are we looking like? We are looking like this when it wants to load. So we are, as you can see there, we're fully in the -5 there. And if we did carry on them northerly winds for a couple more days, this air would start to push down. So that would be interesting. So it's a bit more interesting, isn't it, there? So we will look at the equivalent temperature. These probably going to be very cold, if I'm correct, because of this -5 pushing it. It's looking a lot more interesting than we have been seeing lately. So yeah, it's looking still interesting. We are in the blues, dark blues there, trying to get the purple in, so we're looking cold then. The temperature deviation is looking very cold once again. We'll go back to the 800 for temperatures. By the 9th of December, we are just about past day 10 now, going towards day 14, then what happens to the high pressure over Scandinavia? See, if we got trapped in that high pressure over Scandinavia, it would be very cold. But because the low pressure pushes it away, it's very short-lasting, isn't it? So it moves away. And by the 12th of December, we're in maybe a little bit of milder winds. So not as cold there. So that's not as interesting, is it there? So not as exciting at the end of this run. What we don't like to see. I want cold weather anyway. I prefer cold weather and snow. We're still in the colder air though, but we are not as cold as we were. We'll have a look at the 6th, Ed. Oh yes, we will. So we carry on and we start off bringing them westerly winds in. As usual, wet, windy and stormy there. Then high pressure takes over the country and brings them easterlies in, what will be a bit colder. Does it agree and take high pressure to Scandinavia? It does. And this time the northerlies bring low pressure, what will bring snow from the northeast. But as well, it brings windy conditions. So could that be blizzards across the country? There. So that's interesting, isn't it? And as we carry on bringing the easterly winds in. So I will go to when we start to bring the northerly in. Here. Look at the upper air temperatures. We're going into that cold air there. The equivalent temperatures looking like this. Very cold, dark blue, trying to get the purples in. The temperature deviation is looking like this. We're looking very cold there. We'll go back to here and we will go on a few more until we now. We are still in them northeasterlies and we start to try and get even colder air into the country. So we'll carry on for a minute, see what happens. That cold air carries on coming in and we'll have a look at the upper air temperature now. We are trying to get the -5 and we're so close. It's just because of the time of the year, it's not going to be as cold as it would be if we were in like January and things like that. But as we come up to the end of this run, we've gone to the start of this run. As we come up to the end of this run, we're in like northeasterlies, so quite cold. More interesting. Look at the upper air temperatures. We are trying to push. Yeah, so if we did carry on them winds for a couple more days after this, I would expect this colder air up here, if it'll let me draw, to push down into the UK. Like that. Yeah, so more interesting, isn't it? So that air will probably push in easily. So looking more interestingly, a lot more interesting. Look at the 12 side now and then we'll do. So let's have. So what 12 looking. Our goal is for 15 now, I say. So we're doing very well at the moment on that. So thank you everyone for getting us that. So we are looking a lot more interesting over the next few days, aren't we, with them easterlies and northerly winds. So we will have to keep an eye on it, but so we will have a look at this run, see if this agrees. So once again we have them southwesters coming in, westerlies a bit more warmer, milder, a bit more warmer, well not warmer, a bit more milder. Still going to be cool because it's coming in from, well, it was coming in from the north. It's coming in from like a northwesterly and then turning into a westerly. So high pressure once again takes over the country. No surprise there. We bring them easterly winds in, but not that cold, more of southeasterly instead of easterly. Then we bring in easterlies there. That's proper easterly, that is. Then it goes up to Greenland, and we bring in a northeasterly there. And by the end of the run here, we will look at the upper air temperatures. That's like a proper northeasterly, that is. And that's the sort of pattern we want to see. That's a proper northeasterly. So what is the upper air temperatures looking like? That's a proper we're in the dark blues and purples there. This is definitely the most interesting run we have seen today. Dark blues. Trying to get the purples in on the equivalent temperature. The upper air temperature, we are nearly in the -10, -5, -10, nearly upper air temperatures. We are looking very cold with that there. So now I think we will look at week 1 and 2 on the ECMWF. Week 1's looking like this. If I can draw on the screen, there we go. Week 1's looking like this. High pressure over Scandinavia and over the country, bringing a southeasterly or a bit more of an easterly wind on the ECMWF. So more drier. The northern hemisphere is looking the same, of course. We have a big ridge of high pressure out in the east, bringing easterly winds in. Won't be that cold yet, but if we carry on bringing them in, it will go colder. The temperature anomalies are looking like this. We're trying to bring the colder air, what is here, into the country, but we are in milder air at the moment. But this colder air, I expect, will start pushing to the UK, so we'll just have to see. The precipitation, we were quite below average, but now we're looking above average. We've got a little bit of and we're below average. We have a bit of wetter than average at the bottom of Scandinavia, but most of Europe is below average rainfall. So the UK is below average. Not that much, but we are below average. So now week 2 of the ECMWF is looking like this. We won't go any further than this. High pressure then starts to... No, we don't want that week, do we? We're not going to the 26th. We want week 2. Week 2 is looking like this. High pressure looks like it's trying to go a bit more towards Greenland now. Big area of high pressure. So I think we'll be bringing in more of like a... That one's interesting because if this high pressure splits down the middle, it'll bring a cold northerly in. And that's what we've been seeing on the models. So I expect us to bring in like a northeasterly there. Yeah. That's what I would expect anyway. So the northern hemisphere is looking like this for week 2. Yeah, we can see better there, can't we? High pressure going up to Greenland and blocking over the North Pole. Not that. We have high pressure over Greenland and blocking over the North Pole, bringing in like a easterly, maybe a northeasterly there, yeah. So we're still bringing colder air in. So the next 2 weeks, right? So the next 2 weeks we're looking colder, aren't we? And the ECMWF is turning Greenland very above average and Scandinavia above average temperature anomalies. But through the UK and most of Europe, we're looking extremely below average. Well, around Europe. In the UK, we're looking below average. Less so in Scotland, but in Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales and England, we're looking below average temperatures, and we're looking more of a colder December, eh? We're looking a bit more interesting lately. So now we will look at the precipitation. No surprise, we are drier than average, wetter than average in Spain and Portugal, a bit wetter than average over here, top of Scandinavia, a bit wetter, but we are drier than average. So, what do you guys think? We are looking very cold on these models, aren't we, at the moment? So, I'll go to the most interesting part I thought to end us off, and that is definitely this here. So, this is definitely the most interesting bit of the video, this here. I think it's extremely interesting that we're bringing like Beast from the East style sort of wind direction and temperatures in to the country, and probably quite a bit of snow. So thank you everyone for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.